Next, Republicans are all jockeying for blame and for power here.
That's right. Let's put D1 up here. Scalise will not challenge McCarthy. This is per Jake Sherman over at Punchbowl, according to a Scalise aide who told Jake that. The message that's going out from the Scalise camp, Scalise is running for majority leader, full stop. Jim Jordan said the same thing yesterday as well, although he was pretty clear about that to me just about a month ago. And we also have D2. This is from Ben Shapiro. We can throw that up on the screen. Okay, so this is...
Actually, this would be funny if it was from Ben Shapiro.
Yeah, this is clearly from Trump. I don't know if Ben tweeted it or something. I have an exciting announcement that I can't wait to share with you. On November 15th, I'm going to announce something huge at Mar-a-Lago, and I want you to be there. All right.
He means me.
He means you, Ryan Graham. He wants you to be there. But make sure to contribute your $5 so you can get into Mar-a-Lago.
I'm sure this lottery will be on the up and up, and whoever wins will actually be invited to Mar-a-Lago. No questions.
It's like Willy Wonka, like the golden ticket.
Yeah. Recently, Trump was offering an 1,100% match for donations down the stretch. I was like, there's no way anybody can ever top an 1,100% match. Like, I can't even do. I give $5 and it magically turns into $5,500. How can I not do this? And then a couple days later, they came out with a 1,700% match. Wow.
17.
That's such a great deal.
It's all
like, how could you not take
all,
Trump up on that?
It's just Steve Mnuchin. He's just out there,
just printing,
multiplying.
He stole all that money from the mint.
He stole the mint.
Yeah, that's how he's going to multiply your money. That's genius.
Little known fact. Kayleigh McEnany actually said on Fox News yesterday that if she were Donald Trump, because of the Georgia runoff, she would not hold that announcement. The announcement on the 15th.
Not make the announcement.
Not make the announcement. It's widely expected, of course, that Donald Trump's big Mar-a-Lago announcement that he announced at his rally, what was that, Monday night, is going to be his announcement that he's running for president. He is obviously running for president unless something dramatic changes. The man is running for president. But because Ron DeSantis and Donald Trump have been publicly sort of at somewhat of loggerheads, DeSantis hasn't really exchanged any fire with him. Trump has put up on Truth Social some mockery of DeSantis, as Ryan mentioned earlier in the show, saying that he got more votes than DeSantis did in the midterm. But of course, when you're running in a presidential year, you're always going to get more votes than somebody running in a midterm year for the most part, because turnout is just that much higher. So Trump has been ribbing DeSantis. He called him DeSanctimonious the last couple of weeks. And the sort of internal chatter on the right at the moment is that Donald Trump, his candidates fared very poorly this week. His endorsements didn't seem to carry the weight and the punch that a lot of people wanted them to. Thus, there needs to be some introspection and some time to think about what's best for the party before he makes that announcement. That DeSantis is kind of waiting in the wings. This guy puts up double-digit margins, not just in general, but in freaking Miami-Dade County. Just crazy stuff for Republicans in Florida. And again, like, Florida is changing quickly. That's pulling a lot of people who either weren't voting or were straight up voting Democrat in Florida to the Republican side. So that seems to be the dilemma facing Republicans right now. It's all Trump. And I have a lot of thoughts on that. So before I keep just blubbering on, Ryan, what are your thoughts?
I think Democrats, rightly or wrongly, are desperately hoping that he follows through with his announcement. Because also, Democrats are such short-term, everybody in politics is short-term thinkers. So they're like, if he announces mid-November, like, that really juices our turnout for the Herschel Walker, Raphael Warnock, or December 4th or 5th election, whenever that is. What does that do for Herschel Walker turnout? Will Trump go all in to try to, will he be rallying constantly in Georgia for 2 weeks?
And will DeSantis? That's the question, because again,
so much drama.
Look at how popular Ron DeSantis is in Florida. Right, right under the border there in Georgia. He's very close. And again, putting at double-digit margins. And we talked about the sort of Reagan model or the populist, the Jason Kander model, is that if you are bold and you pass these policies, you can actually sort of attract voters to you who don't necessarily love the Republican Party or regularly vote Republican or regularly vote Democrat, because they say, that guy believes in something and he's doing something about it. And I like that. I like that things are actually changing. I like that, somebody actually is doing what they say they're going to do. And this has been a sort of part of Ron DeSantis' success. And so it's very likely that people are going to want him to campaign for Herschel Walker. Are they going to want Donald Trump to campaign for Herschel Walker in a state that Brian Kemp won easily? And Herschel Walker is going to a runoff, right? Like, that is a huge red flag to Trump world. If you have Brian Kemp, a guy that Trump did endorse, Sagar picked this up. I think he endorsed him at his rally on Monday. As it seemed pretty clear that Brian Kemp was going to win, Donald Trump was like, I give him my full endorsement, and something like that. But Brian Kemp won easily in Georgia. And Kemp and Trump have had a horrible relationship over what happened in 2020. Mm-hmm. So what's best? What's best for Herschel?
I mean, but Herschel obviously loves Trump, right?
Loves Trump. A lot of Herschel voters love Trump. I mean, Donald Trump, this is where, for all of the DeSantis people who I think risk sort of congealing into a very fervored base. And I understand why people like DeSantis on the right, don't get me wrong. But it's sort of, they have to be careful not to go into full never Trump mode, because that guy is attracting his rally in Ohio the other night. I mean, how many times has he been to Ohio and Pennsylvania? Trump.
Oh, Trump.
And he still draws these huge crowds. That is not normal for any Republican. There is a lot of love for Donald Trump in the Republican base still, but there's also a lot of polarization in the Republican base. And you can see that, I think, in the Kemp and Walker numbers. So what do you do?
So thoughts on Scalise and Jordan? What's your read?
I think the Freedom Caucus is going to flex its muscles, and if I were them, I would tell them to do the same thing. If they want to have a lot of power in the next Congress, Kevin McCarthy has had a lot of really warm relationships with people in the Freedom Caucus. He especially has a very warm relationship with Jim Jordan. He cultivated that relationship intentionally.
Who's he going to back?
Who's Jordan going to back?
McCarthy.
Who in
the majority leader race?
Oh, I'm sure Scalise. I think it'll be, I mean, I don't know. He has a close relationship with Jim Banks, and I think Banks is jockeying for the whip position. So I don't know, but I do think the Freedom Caucus is going to do something. And I don't think it's going to be a serious...
We're going to get a Freedom Caucus
on
tomorrow.
We'll try.
If you're watching, you're in the Freedom Caucus.
Come on the show.
Yeah, you're welcome.
We'd love to have you. We'd love to talk to you, because Kevin McCarthy is, not seen as somebody, he's certainly not like a kindred spirit with the Freedom Caucus, but for somebody who's not a kindred spirit with the Freedom Caucus, has a shockingly good relationship with them, and that was intentional and strategic on his part. So I think it's possible they throw someone up to run against him. Obviously, it's not going to be Jim Jordan, but that something happens that pushes him to do something. I mean, there are a lot of procedural changes that actually, like really procedural changes that folks like Rachel Bovard think need to be done, and Freedom Caucus members think need to be done. So I wouldn't say that we won't see anything. That'll just, everyone will fall in line. A Freedom Caucus source told me before the election that the idea that the Freedom Caucus is going to support McCarthy and it's, quote, done and dusted is ridiculous. So I think that increases in likelihood now that the red tidal wave didn't materialize.
Cable news is ripping us apart, dividing the country, making it impossible to function as a society, and making it impossible to know just what is true and what is false. But the good news is they are failing and they know it.
That is why we're building something new, a new mainstream, a healthier one, something more trustworthy, something that we are going to need in one of the most pivotal times in American history. We are building up here for the midterms, for the upcoming presidential election, but we need your help. So if you can help us out by becoming a premium member today at breakingpoints.com, we're trying to change America for the better and the entire world.
So what are you waiting for, guys? Go to breakingpoints.com and sign up and help us build a new mainstream.